The idea really is to convey the magic of the bowls. They're made in a different time and in a different culture and with a different mindset. They were made by somebody who was living in a culture where every hammer stroke was a prayer. Really focused on the cultural imperatives of the Himalayas. And those cultural imperatives really had to do with Buddhism. They really had to do with enlightenment. The Tibetans talk about the objects in terms of 3 levels of practice. There's the outer level, the inner level, and then the secret level. The outer level of listening is the level of sound, the beautiful tones and how those tones make you feel. The inner level is using the sound of the bowls to bring you into a state of clarity. The secret level is that when the bowl is sounded, teachers transmit their teachings on the wings of the sound. And these bowls, most of them were not made for the sound that they have. Most of them were made for a lot more mundane tasks. Now that doesn't mean that they weren't used for sound. That doesn't mean they weren't used for meditation and entertainment. Listen to a bowl like this one here. And this makes this incredible sound, and you can see the hundreds and hundreds of hammer marks in this thing. And the thickest bowls are these, and they're very high sound. You're listening to, I've got 5 octaves of bowls here, mostly 4, and this would be the highest octave. And this would be the lowest octave. The bowls that you're looking at here are all antiques. It's quite likely that really the newest bowls here are about 80 years old. The oldest bowls, a few of these objects that are in front of us are 400 years old. And what's important about the age of the bowls is that it informs us about the individuals that created the bowls. There's also an effect of the metal being in the bowls for a long period of time that improves the sound. And it's not merely the composition of the metal, but it's actually a function of the metal having been in that object for that period of time. The bowls themselves are made out of metal. The Himalayas were created by the continent of India being ripped off of Africa, drifting across the Indian Ocean, smacking into the bottom of Asia. And the force of that collision has, over the course of millions of years, raised up the highest mountains in the world, the Himalayas. The other effect of that force, though, is to concentrate metals. And there are alloys of metals, that is, combinations of metals that have been absolutely cooked inside the earth. That pressure made some rather unique alloys that don't exist anywhere else in the world. The most predominant metal you're looking at is copper. So the bowls are brass bowls. Copper mixed with tin, mixed with nickel. But there's other metals in the bowls, too. There's gold. There's silver, there's iron, lead or antimony. And the different metals and the different shapes and the different kind of pounding that they've gone through is what determines what the tone is. And then I acquired this one thick old bowl. And I kind of wondered about the history of this bowl. It was kind of rusty or, rough on the inside, and it was thick and heavy, and it had a great sound to it. And I kept listening to that bowl, and I kept listening to that bowl, and eventually the bowl started to speak to me. And what that bowl said to me was, if you're going to get that collection together, Ryan, you better get over there now, because these bowls are not going to be around that much longer. And I finally decided, yeah, I'll buy myself a ticket to Kathmandu. I got the opportunity to go in and ring at least 5,000 bowls. I would go into rooms and I'd have stacks like this all around me. I didn't bring back necessarily a collection of the oldest bowls or the prettiest bowls. What I brought back were the bowls that sounded the best. Those are called Manipuri bowls. Those are the bowls that are most likely found in northern India. Those bowls were also made in Nepal, might have been made in Tibet as well. The ones I'm sitting in front of, these are the ones that Tibetans liked. These are called jambadi, and jam means tribe. And in order to make a bowl like this, and these bowls are all hand hammered. They may look very smooth, they may look machined, but there's no machining in them. There may very well be 100 or 200 years of washing it by hand that'll smooth it out. It takes more than one person to hammer out a bowl like this. If you look at these bowls in front of me, what you're seeing is a very high-tone bowl, a very low-tone bowl, and a range of the tones in between. Now look at the way they look. They certainly don't look like the little ones over here and the big ones over there, and it's all consistent. No, that's not the way it is with the bowls. So a bowl like this is going to have a much lower tone than a bowl like that. It's kind of hard to tell by looking at it, isn't it? There's one meditative set. Those 4 bowls there, there's 7 bowls in the middle of this table, which will have a tone sequence. And that was a tone sequence that was taught to me by a Nepalese man who's studied the bowls for many years. The concept of the tone sequence is just to bring you into a more contemplative place, bring you into a place where you can hear yourself. Over on that table in the middle are 5 very rare mani bowls. Mani bowls have not been made for hundreds of years. They're always thick and usually quite worn. They have a very interesting tone to them that you'll hear. I have quite a few different mallets. You can elicit different tones out of the same bowl with a different mallet. So listen to the bowls and give yourself a chance to follow the sound.